Let me just record. Yep, we are recording. Okay. So just so everyone's on the same page, and I think everyone who wasn't there has at least listened slash watched the YouTube video. Looking at you, Rector.
Absolutely
Um,
amazing. Yep.
so where we left it, you collapsed the cathedral, and at the same time, Reginald and by proxy the rector looked back and saw the scene of the triptych behind them, which was, and I'll just paraphrase, Lady Purbeck had strangled the young version of Marielle Dubois to death. Um, Eliza was on the other side, sort of cloaked in shadow, reaching out to sort of drag someone down, and resplendent in the middle as the very. And look, now that if you, I don't know if I want to give spoilers away, but if you have watched Agatha all along, you will now know the story of the Green Witch. And who the Green Witch actually is, which was, by the way, excellent. I have to say,
Mm.
Agatha all along has proven to be a return to form for Marvel. Um,
Mhm.
uh, so she was representing the sort of the life and the death. So she was actually the green in the sense that it's not all about
Mm.
just life. Death occurs. Like, so there were scenes at her feet of animals killing animals and feeding on them, and then new life being born from the dead bodies and all of those sort of things. So that was the triptych scene you saw as the cathedral collapsed down, having successfully defeated, defeated maybe, crushed the spirit out of um, Valaquin as Avatar, who Lily crushed in her little fist like he was but a little. Squeeze the orange. Squeeze the orange. And the juices ran out. Um, as the cathedral collapsed, you were all suddenly back in the room you started in. So this was the room, the library, if you will, and the office area that you had piled all the tables and chairs against the door that leads out into the other place. You had gone down the corridor, which had turned into the walkway to Paris. You have opened the other door to remind you, and had seen the scenes which you realised were Milan. And thanks to Rob's good efforts, Caravaggio. Home city.
Say it all with me, Caravaggio.
Caravaggio.
Caravaggio, yes. So we are back to Caravaggio, who we love and who's a great person. Um, so that's where you are now. A few of you are carrying around a few psychological scars, um, as a result of the process. Um, Well, so I'm going to ask each of you a question, if I may, and I'll start with yes, we are recording.
Cool.
I have
Just
I
wanted to
have
check.
I have hit the
Sorry,
recording
you're on a
button.
roll.
It's right there. Um, I'm watching it record even as we speak. He
Good.
says yes, I am. So
Yes. Question.
question: who are you right now? So, Lady Purbeck, what is your number one desire?
To regain control over the tossing seas of my mind. But the way that I perceive that that will happen is through externalizing my anxieties and my fears. So I want to control everyone and everything around me because I can see things are going wildly out of control, especially my young wards, and I feel deeply guilty.
Yeah, so there's this deep guilt that you are failing to give them the necessary control to make sure they.
Yeah, yeah. I have clearly failed them. I have not educated them and I've not disciplined them correctly because they have gone off on these very wrong paths.
They have.
And now I have a responsibility to bring them back in, and that will make the world safe and secure and normal, and we're all sticking to the straight and narrow.
Eliza, what do you desire?
I think that kind of taking an opposite stance, to Lady Purbeck, I think that Eliza is letting go of control and just allowing, whatever forces are around her or influencing her or, who are channeling through her to just kind of burst through. And I think she's kind of like she's become so battered mentally. I think that she just kind of recognizes that, like, the dancing while there were explosions and, the random like crowd of things, and her just kind of losing it at that and just kind of, losing touch with reality. I think that that was the first moment where she realized that none of this really matters. Everything is just like uh fluid and flowing, and I can't really do anything about it, so I might as well be a vessel for it. So yeah, I think that like that, in this shroud, she is just um she's probably just allowing whatever feeling of power or even just emotions to wash over her and to fill her, whatever they are.
Okay. Lily, not sure if you're up for it. Okay, if you aren't, but to ask the same question, what does Georgiana desire?
I I don't know. I feel that I just want things to go back the way they were, but that's a lie. You know that's a lie. You'll never go back. But no, but this wasn't how things were supposed to be. What are you talking about? You asked for this. Look at them. They're not. What do they mean to any of them? They're just trying to hold you back. No, no. They're my family. I just I oh, stop it. Stop being a little girl. We've got to get out of this. You know, I will find a way regardless of what you want.
Okay. Reginald, what do you desire?
Reginald, strangely, has almost found his center in a way. He has people around him, probably more than in quite a while, that he cares for and is caring for more each time. He sees that things are fraying, that we definitely kind of all need, because everyone brings different things and we all need each other. He sees that the ladies particularly are struggling a little bit. So Reginald kind of wants to be some kind of, like, I mean, he thinks if he's gone back and faced his worst fears, which is what the jaunt into Paris kind of was the place he didn't definitely wanted to go. It was some of the worst memories that he's had having to leave there. He thinks if he can get through that, and he found a little bit of insanity by setting the fire, but also found a little bit of strength by trying to save the rector and then stop and make sure we didn't abandon the women. He's a little bit in awe of the ladies, a little bit afraid of them, but also by the same token, he thinks that maybe, I don't know if he can save them, but maybe he could be a bit of a bulwark against sort of something that they can lean on. And that is where Reginald is kind of drawing his strength at the moment.
Nice.
And it's unlike Reginald, because he's normally always kind of been, look at me, I'm wonderful, look at, don't worry about all them, I am the main character. Here he's sort of subverting that a little bit.
Okay. Last but certainly not least, the rector. You know,
Well, okay, so the rector actually feels somewhat overwhelmed by all this. He's dealt with people with problems all his life, but never had such a wave of this happening. He does feel like he kind of has gone along and said, I'll leave the gate open and see where the flock go. But now he's gone, oh, that was really bad. I need to be the shepherd now to bring them all back in. And that's where his focus is right now, is how can I be that strong shepherd to get the flock together and to heal them. That's where he is right now.
okay.
He also has this feeling like a receding, like it's almost like God has put down his tools and left the field. And he's had that for a while, from ever since his wife died. He kind of had this doubt, and it's now manifested more overtly with the chaos and the evil rising. So that's the space the rector's in right now.
Is it fair to say that the rector and Reginald both kind of understand that maybe they're not, in Regency setting, it's all about the men.
Correct.
But I feel like we both understand that it's not really all about us, and we're kind of okay with it. We're sort of, but we want to, we want to do what we can to, not from Satan from themselves, but just to, to make sure we try and all get through it. And Reginald particularly thinks that the women are probably the key to that.
Absolutely. We need to make sure that they are safe and in a protected space.
Okay. So you're in the same room. So when you were here last, there was red drapes and red velvet and red walls, and the books had aged and and it had reversed back in time. The desks had gone back in time. Um, in this moment, as you have returned, um, you can each see now hanging on the wall, in the form of the art style of Caravaggio, are five portraits. And each of you feature in one of the portraits. The first portrait is of Lady Purbeck, sitting upon a throne holding a scepter. The second portrait is Eliza holding a wand surrounded by a pentagram with the cup.
Yeah.
The third is Georgiana dressed in sweeping draping style robes, with a knife in one hand and a cup in the other. The fourth, which is of Reginald, is Reginald dressed in the clothing of a fool or a minstrel. And the fifth is the rector hanging upside down, from a tree.
The tree of woe. Wow.
And I need to say, I did not look this up beforehand, so this is me recalling shit I haven't thought about for 20 years. But I think I got it mostly right in the description.
I think you did too.
It's been a while. So yes.
Okay. Well, can I do an occult roll
Absolutely,
to
mate.
translate some of this stuff for people?
Sure can.
Excellent. because, wow.
Can we all do occult rolls?
Absolutely. Please feel free. Love a good
I
occulting.
absolutely will.
No,
Nah, Rector's going.
it's been a while. My
It's-
memory's going.
It's confusing me.
Oh,
You missed by 1 point. Oh,
Nah.
no.
Did anyone else get it?
No one got it.
Okay. Georgiana will spend 1 point of luck to succeed.
Okay, beautiful. So yes, you recognize the symbology. Lady Purbeck holds the scepter of the Emperor.
yeah.
Eliza holds the wand of the magician.
Yeah.
The High Priestess is Georgiana, who holds the blade of the High Priestess. Reginald is the Fool, and the Rector is the Hanged Man.
Yep. That is so accurate. Wow.
And I will now just hit the chat. I'll just do that. Okay.
Thank you.
That's okay. Of course, how much you care that, this is the story you're being told by this universe that you are in is completely up to you.
Were tarot cards a thing back then? Sorry, I'm not really sure of that.
We might be a bit early for tarot cards.
I mean, I guess more would have they been well known enough that Georgiana would recognize, oh, that's
For the
tarot
sake
cards.
of game mechanics, we will
Yeah.
suggest yes.
Okay.
I just looked on Wikipedia. That was started in the mid 15th century.
So definitely yes.
So I would
Easily.
say yes.
Hundreds of years. Good.
Okay.
Nice.
Absolutely.
I think on recognizing this, Georgiana will try to gather herself together enough to be functional. And she might see that perhaps normally this might be more of Eliza's type of thing. So perhaps she'll look over and see that Eliza might be slightly distracted. Cousin, these portraits, do they not remind you of something? The tarot cards, you've shown them to me before. Remember back when you were, I think it must have been 15 or 16, you were obsessed with them for some time, were you not?
Yes. Yes, I was.
But they seem to be ours.
Ours? Whose? Everyone's.
Cousin, please focus. I guess
Focus on what Georgiana, what's happening is happening.
I think
And what will be, and what won't. I think that you've just materialized this brute power, this hirsute prowess, this burgeoning, blossoming magic inside you. Are you not intrigued?
I think Georgiana might just take a moment and then turn to the rector. Reverend, I believe that these paintings, they may be the cards of tarot.
Indeed. Yes. Yes, definitely.
The Lady Purbeck's, it's the Emperor. Eliza is the magician. Reginald the Fool, and you are the Hanged Man.
Yes.
By the way, Georgiana, the noting your dual voice scene from earlier, the voice inside your head is going, you don't really think that's about you, do you?
I guess to the well, and I'm not so sure it's about you either. This is probably just more of his tricks trying to trying to split us apart and confuse us. You're the one who said that you were afraid to come here.
Well, I didn't want to die.
Well, in that case, perhaps we should try to work out how to get out of here.
I think so. And just remember, the High Priestess has power. The magician wants it.
See,
Is this
I think
all
she'll
inner
put
monologue?
that on board and probably not like what the implications are,
Sorry. Come on, I forget.
but
Sorry.
noted. Also, your cat is really cute.
He's molting as well everywhere.
As she should be. As she should be.
I've got an orange cat as well. He's outside, but yeah, she's very cute.
She's marking ownership.
Yeah. Look, I do not know. Look, I am not really a fool or a jester, but at least he has my nose right, so I am okay with that. I've seen worse posters advertising my plays in the past. I think whatever is happening here, our main focus must be to stay together and to survive. So, are we still hearing the ruckus from outside the room, or is it?
No.
Oh, that's even more scary. To me, that means there's a little bit, we can have a little bit more urgency, because if they've done murdering everyone out there, then they might start looking in the rooms for other people to murder. So we have the option of going to what did we say it was? Milan, or going out of the room. I hear Milan is nice this time of year. I feel in my bones that we have to complete pieces of this puzzle, and so for what it is worth, my vote is to go through to Milan.
Well, Milan was where this artist got his start.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we are at pivotal points along his trajectory, and we need to fight those bits or those pieces, defeating him in some way, and then maybe what they may affect what has happened here, as we can see with the paintings.
Well, I say it is high time that we enjoyed an aperitif. And I think she goes to link arms with Reginald and looks up into your eyes, and her eyes are just black.
Reginald hears the Love Boat theme song he hears for some reason.
In my head, it's like the kind of like Dance Macabre.
Oh yeah, or Along Came a Spider or something like that. Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Reginald holds firm. He is a little scared, but he holds firm.
Well, there's a door.
Yeah.
How do you feel about going through the door, Lady Purbeck?
I think that I have looked up at that painting and seen myself as the strong leader that I need to be, the leader for these young ladies. And so I'm going to kind of gird my loins, as it were, and grab my imaginary scepter. Okay, very well. Let us press on. Although I think I remember that we saw that when we looked at Milan before, it was under siege or being attacked.
Yep. The French army was attacking the Austrians in Milan.
That's right.
Let us find our way into the city. And
does anyone know? Sorry, I beg your pardon. That's a real historical battle. Do any of us know how that panned out? Did the French
the Austrians lost, the French won. It's one of Napoleon's victories in his Italian campaign.
We are tracking Napoleon's great battles, by the way.
Yes. Also not a fan of Valaquin, who, after all, probably died as a result of something to do with Napoleon.
Probably involved cannons.
Probably did.
Just before
we
we
think-
leave, I know that Eliza and Lady Purbeck are armed and dangerous.
They are.
However, is it possible that there's anything we could use in this room as a makeshift weapon, like, I don't know, break a chair and get a chair leg so we can at least have something to hit or something?
Definitely.
Because
Around with some rudimentary lathe.
or did we pick up some sort of weapon before? I can't actually remember.
Well, remember that there was a fire poker at least at hand.
There was.
Okay. Well, Georgiana will probably grab the fire poker unless someone else wants it.
No, Reginald has a knife, so.
Okay.
When the young ladies were looking through the notebooks earlier,
Yeah.
I can't remember, did they find out where he was based when he was in Milan?
No. And the book
I
they
don't believe
kept was
so.
the Book of Rituals. So,
Yeah.
no.
No. Okay. So we shall just have to hope that when we go in, that the paintings will lead us to it.
If Lady Purbeck suggested that, then perhaps all of us could grab a book and try find the Milan.
Well,
path.
one of you at least kind of has a pretty good idea of how the books are sequenced. So you could go, oh, we know when that happened. Where would that be in the booklet, in the line of books? You could actually probably work it out reasonably quickly with a simple library use roll. God, I love using library use. God, it's good.
So
Well, if Lady Purbeck said that out loud,
Yeah,
then Georgiana would suggest that they can check the books and make a library use roll.
Can we
Go
all
for it.
go?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Why don't we all drive? Anyway,
Library
yes,
use
go
roll.
for it. No.
Where's my library?
Wow.
No.
Good to get these rolls out early.
That's how it's going to work. Yay, Eliza! Woo! 56%.
Now, there's a 50% chance that she'll actually share.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Georgiana, your helpful voice does remind you that Reginald's got both a sword and a dagger. Perhaps you could, ask for one.
Did Eliza give Georgiana a dagger before?
I think that we had 3, and I gave one to Georgiana and I gave one to Reginald.
Actually,
Yeah.
in which case it'll probably be on your character sheet. So let's just check.
I'm still taking the fire poker.
Yeah.
Very wise. Yes, I've given you a club. So I assume that is your fire poker right there. You got a club for whacking
and the
people.
other thing I want to do before we go is give some reassuring words to Lady Purbeck that everything is going to be fine.
To make a reassurance roll for me, please.
Yes.
Oh, bringing out the big guns now.
Absolutely. Yep, there it is.
There it is. Absolutely not.
A hand pat and everything. I don't think she believed me.
No. I don't know. How do you respond to this offer from the rector to help calm you down?
Oh.
I mean,
But
Everything's going to be fine, Lady Purbeck. We've been through worse.
it will be fine, Richter, but I need your help to make it that way.
oh yeah.
Really? How can I help with my spiritual advice?
Well, we have many problems besetting us on all sides, so maybe not at this very moment. I believe Miss Eliza is possessed by a demon. We must drive it out. I will need you to pray while I beat that devil out of her.
Can I say that this is the perfect moment where like Eliza's been swanning around the books, and they're kind of in one part, and she just swans past and goes and looks the rector directly in the eye, and it's like, "But we're the hanged man," and then walks away.
Anyway, yes, Lady Purbeck. Let's see how this pans out, because I do believe that Eliza is acting a little bit strangely.
All right.
Take both of your
When
charges.
we were in the
One
ruins.
but unhinged like a squeaky door.
Yes. I don't know when we shall have the moment, but we must get that evil out of her.
Well, I've
Georgiana's got a fire
the
poker. Just helping. Providing useful, insightful information at relevant points in the conversation.
Thank you.
A fire poker and a presence in her mind that doesn't like Eliza and occasionally takes over her body, so she's got no control.
Hey, plausible deniability.
Yeah,
We love
it
that.
wasn't me. It was the demon that's possessing.
Do I
Somehow
have to
would
make
be the
voluntary
most.
power rolls for that?
I'd have to make Lady Purbeck make another sanity roll at that point. It's like, hold on, I've been beating the wrong child. Fuck.
I've been missing both of them.
That's right. Oh yeah, no, good point.
So
Okay.
I try and find the relevant book
Okay,
that might
which you
explain
apparently
Milan.
do. Very well done. So in Milan, where was I hiding? Blah 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 blah. Scene 2, Milan. In a beautiful piazza, off the beaten track in Milan, where, inspired by Caravaggio's work, he did some of his initial work, and saw how brilliant the art was and how he could bring it to life.
Okay.
He was not there during the invasion of Milan. Like,
Didn't
he
he
actually
actually
was in
flee?
Milan before he was in Paris. So,
because he had an altercation, didn't he, with somebody and accidentally killed them and fled Milan.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's not. So the scene that you see is not a scene that he personally experienced.
Well, I mean, this is all trickery, metaphor, interpretation. So, and she kind of like squeezes Reginald's bicep. Take it with a grain of salt.
At this point, Reginald's doing the, blink twice if you're in trouble thing to the he's blinking furiously.
Okay, you've collected the necessary information. You've armed yourself with clubs. Lady Purbeck, suggestion was made by Georgiana that we could break a stool to create clubs. This seems like a good plan.
It does.
Also, if I may just offer one other piece of useful information for your awareness, there are heavy drapes, which would inevitably involve
Rods.
rope
Rope and
to
rods.
tie the things up. Could
You
have
also
some
have some
utility.
very heavy wooden rails, rods to deal with as well.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
With knobbly ends.
Get a big knobby end and a bit of rope. I don't want to be weird, but just saying.
She explained that we were actually getting the lengths of rod, but she's snaffling up some rope.
Yeah.
Right.
Just in case, just to.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. At that point, it's actually likely to be true, but let's not dwell. Okay. Will you please go through the door?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You step through the door. Noting that Lady Purbeck actually did ask a very good question last time, just to remind you all, the scene is like the scene you see as a painting, not the scene you see as if it were real. And as you move into it, those colors and the shading and all of the other things maintain that dramatic edge that comes with Caravaggio's work. So the shadows are dark, the light is hidden, all of that sort of thing. This is a city under siege, or under assault, actually is better language rather than siege. So the French have broken through the Austrian defenses. They're charging in. You can hear the hurrah of the French soldiers as they charge the Austrians. You can hear the shattering sound of cannon fire, the screaming of women, children, and men as they are maimed in the consequence or as the result of this battle going on between these two great armies that are fighting over the city. The city itself writhes like a dying thing. There is flames springing up everywhere. You can hear the grinding of the buildings as they collapse from the cannon fire. You can feel under your feet the reverberation of those buildings collapsing, like you are surrounded by destruction. Oddly and explicitly, directly, all of that seems to be occurring over there. So as you move into the city, this great conflict you are not part of. Like, you know it's happening because you can hear it, smell it, and to some extent see it, but it's not near you. It always seems to be just at the edge of your vision or just at the furthest reaches. Now, what you do know is you need to find the piazza that our good mate has hidden himself in. Okay. As you are moving through the 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 streets, you see huddled in a doorway a beggar. He's dressed in torn clothes, which seem oddly out of place, even for the period. So you're looking at a sort of 1895, 1894 sort of period. This person is dressed from a much earlier age. Can I get people with something more than 1% in fine art history to make a fine art roll for me, please?
Yes.
Ooh.
Bringing it in.
No, I'm a little bit off my game.
A little bit off your game.
But you said history, though?
Fine art.
I did mean fine art.
Oh, okay. That's right. I've done my thing.
Okay. Lady Purbeck, you were obviously paying attention when you did the tour of Europe, and the rector gave you all of this very excellent, context and history, because the man in the beggar's clothes is Caravaggio.
Like,
Interesting.
she absolutely double takes at and then grabs the rector.
Well,
Does he not seem the very image of the great master Caravaggio himself?
does look a lot like him. Yes.
We must help him. Quickly, come with me.
Well, I mean, he was born here after all,
Yes.
but he's a little bit out of his time.
Yes, his clothes do look very well. They look as they should for when he lived, but not for this time and place. Not for us.
Odd. Well, we should go and speak to him, I suppose.
Yes, absolutely. I can't believe it. We're actually going to talk to him. She's feeling rather starstruck almost, like.
In this intervening period, I'm just gonna say Eliza has already walked up to the beggar, seeing you two both speaking, and I think she's just kind of like she's like in that like coquettish, curious kind of vibe because everything kind of seems to be like similar to the last painting. Everything is kind of like, it's moved away from where we are. It's not actually exactly where we are. So the fact that there's something here that's interactable, I think that she's interested in. And so she just kind of like she kneels down or just like, kind of hunches down onto the ground at the beggar's level and just says, "What's your name?"
He looks at you confused because assumably you asked this question in English.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
He just mutters something to you in uh do you have any Italian or any French?
I have 1% in French.
Reginald has French. Reginald can start and try and translate for them if he has
So
any
he
French.
tries Italian first and then
Mhm,
he tries
mhm,
French. Because the lingua franca, literally the lingua franca in this case of the
mhm,
period, is French.
mhm.
So
Scusa, scusa. And she's like, and then she in
Bloody
French, and
tourists.
she's like, Reginald, the Belgian, and steps away.
Reginald realizes she no longer is clutching his arm. Oh shit! And then totters over.
Oh
Um,
yes.
okay. Hello, kind sir.
Greetings, my good man. Are you well? Are you in need of aid? I haven't recognised him. You say so.
No, you have not. Yes. Yes, I am in need of aid. I find myself sadly short of funds and uh, unable to practice my art.
Reginald takes a very obvious look around to where the cannons and the fire is putting place,
Yeah.
and says, uh, "Do you not have any more pressing concerns at as of now? Are you not worried about the cannons and the people dying and such?"
I mean, well, I guess it happens. I mean, people die all the time. Some of my greatest work is about that very issue.
Oh, you
Um,
work? What are you? You're an artist?
I do indeed happen to be an artist of some fame, actually.
Oh, pardon. May I ask your name and excuse my ignorance?
Oh no, no, it's well, it is a bit disappointing actually now that you mention it. But oh yes, no, no, my name's Caravaggio. I'm an artist. I've been
Oh, mon Dieu. Of course. I have heard. I am sure we have all heard of the great Caravaggio. The honor is ours.
oh well, that's excellent. Good. So I was just wondering what brings you to my fine city.
Yes. Perhaps maybe we could go somewhere. Do you? You are a denizen of the city, obviously. This is my what's the word? What would you call? What would you call Lady Perk? Not mentor. What's the word for it?
Patron.
Sorry.
Patron.
Patron.
Patron. Yes. May I introduce you to my patron, the munificent Lady Viscountess Purbeck, and I do introductions all around and say we obviously travelers here. Do you maybe have somewhere that we could speak perhaps a little more quietly, away from the cannons, if at all possible?
Oh, well, yes, of course, and do follow me. Um, he gets up. He's limping. He's not particularly hale or well. Um,
Is there any blood, or does it look like an old wound?
looks like an old wind, and he stands up and starts to guide you through the town. Um, you find yourselves very quickly at a small, for want of better language, cafe, um, serving wine, obviously. There's just one person in the cafe, a tall, austere woman dressed in white. She seems to be serving wine. Caravaggio hammers on the table. Can I get spot hidden rolls from everyone, please, at this point?
Yes. Also, as well, I think that as we're walking, could I nudge
Yes.
Reginald and say, quickly, ask him about Valaquin. Did Valaquin injure him?
Of course. Miss Eliza, please.
Oh.
We may come. Let us have a drink and all things we can discuss. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So, in very quick order, Georgiana, the woman in white, you realize is somehow Marielle Dubois. Viscountess Purbeck, you notice that he's clutching in his hand a broken paint brush. So he's got the top half of a paintbrush. It's been snapped in two, and he's holding onto it quite desperately. Rector, you see that you are not actually, as you first thought, alone. As you've sat down and wine has started to be served, you notice that the shadow, what you thought were shadows, or what you may still think are shadows, actually seem to be a small group of other patrons. But they're very indistinct and hard to make out.
Okay.
Is it like they're if they're in a painting, they'd be in the background?
Yes.
Hmm.
So is it only Georgiana who recognises?
Yep. She doesn't actually Yeah, she doesn't particularly look like her.
Just the whole mannerisms and gait, that sort of thing.
And is this cafe in a piazza?
It's in a piazza, or at least attached to a piazza, yeah.
Okay. Well, yes. Well, we would order drinks. I hope that we don't make any obvious. Anyway, yes, order drinks, and maybe have just a gentle conversation first, and then we can try and let the alcohol do its work and do a little bit of digging deeper.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have French or Italian?
No, but
I have a manner of Italian, but it's quite odd.
You do have Latin, I was going to say. He may well speak Latin.
He's an educated
Georgiana
man.
has like 27 points in French.
Okay.
Which is...
Yeah.
Reginald's happy to translate. That's fine too.
Okay. All right. So it's Reginald and Georgiana holding a somewhat. I mean, obviously Reginald can speak perfect French, but Georgiana, you can follow the conversation and interject as you so desire. Sadly, the rector is they're just speaking very fast.
I might actually burn a luck point.
And bring it down.
Yeah, bring it down by one. One luck. There we go.
There it is. Beautiful. Love that luck spend. Okay, well, you're tracking the conversation. They're speaking quite fast, obviously, so but you are tracking it. But yeah, the other two of you are sort of
Wait, no clue.
Hang on. How is he tracking it in Latin when we're speaking French?
Exactly.
Right, fair enough. Sorry. El Latino.
El Latino, exactly. Okay. So, fire away, folk. What do you want to know? What do you want to talk to him about?
Well, Lady
might he
Purbeck
have
has
to
of
share?
course got to have a little gush about how much she loves his works and how they deeply moved her.
Who are you getting to say
her-
that on your behalf?
Reginald, of course.
Reginald, of course.
Of course. Is it just Caravaggio? That's it? Just the single like Madonna? That's the one there?
No, Michelangelo is his first name.
Yeah, he's got quite a lengthy name, as I
He
recall.
does. Michelangelo something or other. See, Caravaggio something else.
Okay. Well, firstly, yeah, I was asking how he prefers to be referred to, and before I said, look, we have some fans of the art, and your art in particular. Lady Purbeck here, a very fine patron of the arts, and I sort of look at him meaningfully when I say patron of the art. His two wards, Georgiana and Elijah, are both very well versed, and I think that the director is probably almost he does not have the French obviously, but he has probably the greatest knowledge of art, and particularly in some of your work. So it is quite the meeting for us, because you have a table full of your fans, of your ardent fans. So
Okay, as you say that, he seems to get the way you keep on talking about being fans of his art. You recognize that that's actually making him more discomforted than you would imagine.
Okay.
All
right.
So make a psychology roll for me, please. And all of you can make a psychology roll. It's not just because you're all there.
So can I ask, are there croissants?
Oh, absolutely. He's loving what you say.
There are not croissants. You're in Italy.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I'd butt into one that, like, in a way that looks like Saturn devouring his son, but
I can picture you doing
that. Reginald. Oh, actually, Reginald, you notice. Yeah. So he is, as you talk about all of us being fans of your art and loving all of your art, and he becomes more and more discomforted by this conversation. And actually, you can see that he's clutching this broken paintbrush more when you talk that way about it.
Okay, well, I noticed that, so I would tone that down and maybe try and change tack.
That's all right. I've failed my psychology check.
You have. You've 96'd it, buddy.
Sorry?
You've 96'd it.
Indeed. So I can see that paintbrush is a bit of a crutch for him. So I'm going to try and grab it. It's the only way to free your soul, my friend.
By all means, give me I don't know, a brawl roll, maybe.
Oh, I'm renowned for my brawl. Let me just find it. It's somewhere down the back.
Okay. It's under fighting.
Oh, yes, that's right. Fighting brawl. Absolutely. I'll just take that from you if you don't mind. No.
No, you won't. So you grab it, and he rips it out of your hands. It goes, no, no. And as he yells, no, no, you see the shadowy forms that were sort of at the other tables take a much more solid form. So, they're dead people. Now, you've seen dead people recently. You're getting very familiar with dead people. So good news on we've seen a lot of dead people recently front. So they take form as he screams, no, no. And you can see the tall, austere woman smiling as this happens. They, as in the dead people, push their chairs back and now have somehow found whips and clubs and other things which they clearly intend to beat you with. That is what they're for.
Keep your brush, whatever it is. Why is it broken anyway?
Reginald would try and interject and say, "Oh, 1,000 pardons, sir. I think the director thought that was your cross, and he was He was going to bless it for you. Apologies. And I'm just sort of shushing the rector up, seeing the dead people move in the corner, trying to head this off as much as I
I'm only
can.
trying to help him, you know.
Yes.
Um,
Since
oh, sorry, no, go.
no, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think that like, yeah, again, like, I'm following on this crazy line of thinking that I'm just on right now. I'm just thinking like, so if these dead creatures have kind of like come about and they're in a way like responding, at least in Eliza's mind, to the panic or anxiety of Caravaggio, I think that Eliza will just kind of like push her chair back, walk over to the other side of the table next to Caravaggio and just go, oh, there, and just like hugs Caravaggio and just like strokes his hair with her fingers in like an attempt to kind of quiet those voices. Could I do a persuade roll?
Sure.
Okay.
Be careful, she's lust incarnate.
There's look, there's only so much that I can pull out from this well. Where is it? Persuade. Here we go. Oh yes, I certainly can. An extreme success.
Okay.
Don't know what's creepier.
Absolutely.
So you're stroking this Caravaggio
Mm-hmm.
and calming him down.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's limping and sickly and
Mm-hmm.
damaged goods, really.
Mm.
So that little part of you that's not so little anymore, you know, can see. I mean, make an occult roll.
Mm. No,
No.
not at all. What I think though, following your train of thought, I think that, and I guess like, like we see the people probably what, like 5 meters away from us, like coming at us with whips and chains and things.
Yeah, they're actually probably a lot closer than that. These, this is medieval sort of early
Mm.
industrial, right? Buildings are not
Mhm.
big. These are not giant halls that you're dealing with. These are very small spaces.
Couple of steps.
I think that like she's holding him, down here. And she kind of turns and sees these creatures come towards us. And she just kind of like she lets out one of her hands towards them and is just like, ah, an offering. Pulls into her like the back of her dress, pulls out the ritual dagger and slits his throat.
Okay. Can I get a dex roll, please?
Yes, you absolutely can.
Wow.
Hard
Okay.
success.
Hard success. So if anyone would like to stop Eliza from throat slashing, you have to beat a hard success on the dex check.
I will try that.
What can we oppose it with? It's got to be Dex.
In the first instance, yeah, it's got to be dex, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a fighting skill that you want to use, actually, I will allow that.
Now, Dex is better than my brawl. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
Actually,
But no.
hard success.
Okay. Reginald, you see Eliza pull the blade out and you hear the words, so you kind of know what's happening next. I mean, you were in, you know, that temple down below. Like, you know what the daggers are for. It's not a mystery.
Yes. So I try and do it almost like Reginald tries to do it like almost like a dance move where he comes behind her, he's one hand on a hip, one hand on the dagger, and just twirls her away and just whispers, "Not now, madam, not now. Please, mademoiselle, let us find some information, please, first. Please let us not do this."
Okay. I actually want you to roll a dance check.
Mm.
Well, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Extra points for style.
Pirouette away.
Pirouette away. Okay. So, yeah, you wrap your hand around Eliza's hand and spin her away.
I think it's very much like she's just about to do it.
Yeah.
She's got the intensity about her, and then you just kind of like, you come up, behind her and like, put your hand on her hip,
Gentle,
and then
I just grab your hand
yes,
and then just twirl her away.
yes,
Yeah.
and I think that she looks back at you like, oh, and just kind of allows herself to be pulled, and just begins like as you kind of twirl a little bit, she just starts to just like laugh and laugh and laugh. And puts the blade back in its hiding place.
I just whisper as well. If we have enough, maybe enough battles to fight already, so maybe I think this man might be important for us.
By all means, I was really, Reginald, only trying to stop those. And she points at the people, probably now only like a meter away with whips
Right?
and
Yeah.
chains.
The other thing is Reginald now has a human shield, so when they do attack with the clubs,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, that is so good. That is so smart. Yeah, I love that.
Well,
Now,
Lady
unfortunately, all
Purback
of this has kind of disrupted your attempts to calm down Caravaggio.
yeah.
Well, actually, what I'm actually going to do is just place a coin on the table and push it towards him
Okay.
because he was a beggar, and I'm going make something great again.
Okay.
I like that. I like that.
Okay, so that's what you're doing. Lady Purbeck, you were going to do something as well.
Oh, I'm now on my feet because like I jumped to my feet as soon as I saw, because I saw across the table what Eliza was about to do,
You
but I
did?
could not move to stop her. So
No.
uh and I don't know, like she'll probably just say to the Richter, tell him to take us to his studio and paint for us.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Very good.
Okay.
I do embellish on my line. If he's looking like he's calming down with this coin, then that's the next part.
Okay, so can I get a...
I'm going to charm him.
Thank you. Yep, that'll do.
Please, sir, I am a great admirer of your work. Make something great for me. Bloody hell.
Okay. Georgiana, what do you want to do?
Okay, so while this is going on, where is that tall lady?
She's at the back smiling.
Can I push this, by the way?
You can, if you would like to push, yes.
Yes, I am. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Excellent. I know what that means. Georgiana, just to finish off your question before I address the
Chastise the rector.
the failed
no.
push roll.
Okay. So to get to the tall lady, would Georgiana have to move through all the dead people?
No.
While they're distracted, I think Georgiana is going to do what she's done in the past quite successfully and just sort of slowly move backwards while they're distracted towards the tall lady, because somehow she senses this is Marielle Dwar and she wants to try ask her, what is she doing here? because if she's appearing in multiple things, I don't know. This is just my thing that maybe Marielle is the angel or something.
Fair guess. All right. So you are sidling up to her to have a conversation when you hear an old man scream in agony and pain as the whips of the dead strike him harshly for his attempt at bribing a great artist.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just a straight up damage roll.
I am going to try and dodge, by the way.
Doesn't work.
Okay.
Take 4 hit points of damage.
Alrighty. Yes, there is screams of an old man.
Screams of an old man.
You've heard them before when the headless, whatever it is, demon thing had a go at him.
Yeah. Just remember, you just need another patsy, Rector, and then you're fine. It worked the last time. So I kept you alive.
It did.
Can I ask just quickly, Rector, how many hit points do you have currently?
I don't have a lot of hit points, being a 70-year-old man.
Yeah.
Why? Do you
Oh,
need a sacrifice? You want something quick, Eliza?
No. I'm just asking whether or not that was a major wound.
No. Well,
Okay.
what does a major wound consist of?
It's half or more of your hit points at once. Lost. Okay,
No.
cool. Just wanted to make sure, because otherwise
Yeah.
you might have gone unconscious.
Yeah. Well, I'd have to make a roll, and then I'd make a staggeringly good roll again, and then have to crawl around the place.
Exactly. Georgiana, you have sidled up to the tall, austere woman in white drapery. She looks at you with hooded grey eyes.
Mademoiselle Dubois, is that you? And then she'll repeat it in French as well.
Ah. Why?
You seem... I feel that we've met before. Who are you, and what is this place? What are they doing to the rector?
Punishing.
Can you stop them?
Yes.
Will you?
No.
Why not?
Pain.
Is that what this place is about?
For some.
Have you seen an angel around here?
Yes.
Where?
In the water.
Can you... Where? From here, how would we get there?
She reaches over and pushes a bowl of water at you.
Georgiana will look into the water.
Okay. You see Sarah Brown looking at you. As in, you see your reflection and it's Sarah Brown.
Yeah, I got it. Is this the angel? Are you the angel? The grieving angel?
I'm bound.
Bound to what?
To protect.
Protect Caravaggio?
No. She looks quite staggered by that question.
Protect who?
No answer.
We've been told that we need to find and protect a grieving angel. But we are being prevented from doing this by whoever we think, a man called Vaquilin, who has created this place.
Okay, when you say that name, make a psychology roll for me, please.
This is not going to go well, but okay.
Well,
Oof.
I feel like you jinxed yourself, but look, at the same time, 94 was never going to land well.
It's not a fumble, though.
It's not a fumble. That's a beautiful thing. Nothing.
Okay. Have you heard of this Vaquilin before?
Nothing.
Okay. I think probably while this conversation is happening, maybe there's more action going on there because I'm sort of a bit out of ideas now.
Okay. The rest of you. So there's the two dancing people. And there's obviously Lady Purbeck. Now you can see that the rector is now wrapped in these whips
Mm.
and is bleeding.
Drums.
So I'm definitely going to come to his defense. So I'm going to take one of those rods because it seems the most useful thing.
Right.
And strike at the people holding the whips.
Make a
Or the
power
dead
roll.
people. Oh, I don't have much power. Nope.
Mm.
Oh, actually, sorry. Roll again, and this time with advantage.
18.
Wow.
Okay. You are actually holding a rod.
Like a scepter rod?
Yep.
Cool.
And you feel the dead accord themselves to your desire.
That is not cool.
It's kind of cool.
Jesus.
It's freaking
Very
sick.
uncomfortable because that was kind of what Eliza did in Paris.
Yeah.
And then she had that devil creature over her, and I'm like, don't. Better be flagellating myself too, just to be sure. But I feel I have no choice at this moment but to drive them away from us.
Correct.
With my rod to save the rector.
Yeah. But they're doing exactly what you want. Like, there's no pushback. There's no challenge. They are just doing what you want.
Flagellating myself. Flagellating for sure. We'll be around.
Okay, are you actually thinking that when you say it?
Yeah.
One of them kneels down and offers you its whip.
Oh. She's just gonna scream. Just scream. And look completely unhinged way. And just kind of paralyzed by like
By choice.
by the
Okay,
Much
so
as
so
power.
when you do that, you feel that control that you just had just disappears.
Yeah.
Like, so you had them under your command, but like you kind of reject the command you've given.
Yeah.
And you feel it break, and obviously the screaming doesn't help. But yeah, the control breaks in the moment, and actually the scepter that you are holding sort of breaks in your hand and is now in two parts. One part lies on the ground, one part in your hand, broken, just a wooden haft in your hand.
Do we see that? Do we see that the thing in her hand changes and then she has an interaction and that breaks, so we can actually see it? So it's not a great reach to then think that maybe for us or for any of us to make a guess that we then can control some form of reality.
You've had some hints about that already, so
Yeah.
no, yeah,
So
that's
That's what I'm coming to.
yeah.
Just tell me when it's
Yeah.
my go.
I think seeing the rector being attacked, Reginald's first thing is now that he's got Eliza and say, "Look, he needs our help. Let us try and save the rector." And he's thinking, all he wants to do is stop the attack, stop the attack. So he tries. He sees what happens with the Viscountess, and he tries to gather his will and stop. That's what he wants. Is in kind of in a yell, in some with in a mental sort of thing as well. He's just trying to see if it works. Stop. That's what he wants to do.
okay. It feels wrong.
It feels wrong to stop.
What you are trying to do feels wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, then Plan B is just going to try
But make a power roll, but make it with disadvantage.
Okay. So power. No, opposed. No. Is that like a -1 bonus dice? Is how I roll?
So if you, yeah, it should give you a disadvantage.
9. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, so what it does is it replaces your better die with your worst die.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Okay. No problem. That's not a plan.
Okay. All right, well, you've said that and you try and do it, and it just feels wrong. Like, this isn't what you're meant to do. You're not meant to give orders.
Mm.
All right. Well, my next thing is to let Eliza go and then try and head back to Caravaggio.
Okay.
I think that Eliza sees that the rector wants to do something and kind of just bows and twirls away, to the front of the shop, I think, just to kind of get a full bird's eye view of what might happen. And it's just, like wanting to see what the rector will do, because she's kind of seen that same look on his face of just you know, concern, disgust, shame, anguish, and, a hint of that malevolence of you will be put into line. So yeah, I think she's just letting him have his due, whatever that may be.
Well, you do actually notice that he's got his eyes closed and he seems to be reciting stuff, reciting familiar verses from the Bible that you can hear around in the closed chamber. And he's trying to embody the hangman. He's trying to let go of all this stuff and to let it wash away all the demons that are around him with whips and chains. And if he succeeds, he wants to be inverted against a pole in the pub, glowing with his halo. to
Power
just
roll,
push them
please.
all away.
Power roll, please. Yep.
Okay. No advantage or anything?
Give you advantage.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Regular. Actually, what is that? It's just a +1, isn't it?
No, you should have. I think when you click the dice, you can select. When you click the skill, you can select whether you're rolling with advantage or disadvantage. I'll just check that I'm doing that right. Yeah, bonus die, +1, -1.
Yeah.
So
I'm doing a +1 die.
You are. Yep.
Okay. Let's do this. 73.
It's a success,
a regular
people.
success.
It's a regular success.
So he is trying to change the way everything is working in around him.
Yeah.
And try and do the whole pushback of all the darkness.
So what actually happens is not quite that. But
all right, it's in my head right now.
It's in his head. You go, you're saying these words from the Bible, which are all about self-sacrifice and about emptying yourself of, desire and all of these other things, and rejecting the material and accepting the spiritual. What actually happens is all of the shadows lash you with whips, but the blows do nothing other than mark your flesh.
Okay. Nice.
So you are marked by the blows, but you are not harmed by the blows. You accept what they do to you, and it is just, material pain. It has no meaning. It has no impact on you. You are better than that.
Excellent.
So you guys all see the shadowy forms lashing at the priest, but they're actually fading into the priest. It actually looks not dissimilar to what you saw in the when you were in Paris, where Georgiana got into the conflict with Valaquin, and as she shouted down upon him, he shrunk away physically and was absorbed. It's not a different look. You can see
I look
the
like
priest.
I'm just holding my ground with the chanting and the reciting and everything.
But he's also, per his desire, he is also the whips and the chains that the things are using wrap around his feet and pull him up as they've come over, rafters in the ceiling.
As per the hangman.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what goes down with you. Lady Purbeck is looking at the broken scepter. Reginald tried to do something that just didn't feel right. Eliza, you waited for the rector to do something. They've done something which you're probably going, well, that's fascinating. I wasn't expecting that. What would you like to do?
Well, firstly, I think Eliza, as she sees that with the rector, I think she kind of has like a perverse pleasure from seeing that because it's like he's such a martyr in real life. That even in this in this like dream state, he is taking on this punishment, although not really hurting him at all. So I think she kind of mutters as above, so below. Um, uh, um, and other than me being catty in this moment, just to bring it out there, um, um, uh, I I think that from that twirl, she's twirled directly in front of the bar, and is now standing right next to Georgiana, who was kind of like having that moment of not really understanding Marielle Dubois. And I think that she just kind of like leans over the bar and grabs a bottle of wine and puts it onto the bar and flicks open the cork or, uncorks it. and it's just like looking at Marielle Dubois as she does this, just kind of like doing this while still maintaining eye contact and seeing whether there's um any reaction.
Yeah, so when all that goes down, both of you, that is Georgiana and Eliza, can roll psychology rolls for me, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
I will push my psychology roll
Oh,
by
okay.
leaning even closer to Marielle Dubois.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I failed the push.
Okay.
Give it to me.
Her hand shoots out
Mm.
and grabs you, like your hand that's holding the wine bottle. So you've got a hand holding the neck of the bottle, let's say. You've dug the cork out with some sort of bladed instrument to dig it out. You're holding the cork. You try and lean in to get a closer look. She grabs you by the hand, wrapping her hand around yours, which is wrapped around the neck of the bottle, and squeezes it as hard as she can. You feel the neck of the bottle shatter under your hand and the glass break and cut your flesh. It's going to be half of this number. 1 hit point.
Okay. I would like seeing that because I'm not in any way withholding eye contact. I don't even look at my hand as that happens. I'm looking directly at her. What do I see in her face? Oh, actually, I guess I fumbled a psychology roll. I don't know.
No. What you see in her face is absolute anger. And she spits and she says the most words in a single sentence she's said so far. She goes, "You're just like him, a desperate little seeker of knowledge, willing to do whatever it takes, aren't you? Little magician."
Oh, I don't think so. And I would like to grab the half of the bottle that's like the top of it.
Yep.
And I'd like to brandish it towards the dead.
Okay.
And scream at them to end her.
And are you saying certain names in the process? Certain names that you've noticed have a certain authority in such circumstances?
I am saying the goddess of death demands payment and respect. You will know the name. And it just like comes out of her like a rasp. So yeah, what would you like me to do?
I think the word power roll has not been underused so far, so why don't we keep on rolling it?
No worries. Do I get an advantage or just
No,
regular?
because this one you are doing exactly what you should be doing, but she's no bunny.
Oh, fair. Regular success.
Okay. The dead stop. So the dead have had a bit of a rough couple of minutes, okay? Just so we're all on the same page. The dead are not doing well. So, one moment we're whipping someone because they've done the wrong thing. Then we're being commanded by the empress, by the emperor to, the controller of the world to not do something, and then they lose it. And then the fool tries to do something and they lose it. And then we run into the hangman and he just goes, "Sure, whip me, buddy. Whip me as much as you want." And now we're being commanded by another person to do another thing. It's getting a little messy in their little dead minds. But
Well,
but she looks at you. She looks at you first and goes, "God, you're just like him," and goes to slam her fist into your face.
Amazing.
At the same time, the dead who were pointlessly whipping the priest because it was just not working anymore. But got to keep on doing what you know. Um, Start to stumble towards the angel. Georgiana, what would you like to do in this moment? I feel that it is now a moment where you can do nothing. That's a completely valid answer. But right now, what would you like to do?
Okay. So initially, after she crushed Eliza's hand, Georgiana had been thinking of just hitting her or something, but I think we're rather past that now. So I'll just say Georgiana might have been frozen for that moment. I guess as she sees her try to punch Eliza, maybe she will try like grab her arm and prevent her from punching Eliza.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to be successful though.
Make a brawling roll for me, please.
Okay.
Yeah,
No.
No, you go to grab the arm and you fail. Okay. Where are you, my very, 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 very nasty person? Oh, look, there you are. Yeah, it's just that, I think. Oh yeah, that's gonna hurt. Eliza, if you want to dodge that, you've got to at least get a hard success.
Okay. I will be attempting to dodge. Here we go.
No.
Nah, I don't. I take it.
You take it. Oh god, I can't do your damage for love of money. Take a hit point of damage as she punches you.
I spit the blood in her face.
Oh, hold on. I forgot something. Oh.
Your head's on the floor now.
Forgot her. I forgot. Oh, bloody hell. All right. Take another hit point of damage.
Wow. She's really wailing on me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally just like I spit the blood in her face.
Okay. So the dead are now sort of staggering towards her. She's punched you a few times. That doesn't seem to be doing very much.
Mm.
She twists her body away from you for a second, and then sort of in that moment, the mask falls away. There's a grey statue, an angelic statue, standing where the woman with the white robes was standing. She's very weeping angel, if that. So
Yeah.
she has sharp, pointy teeth. She has claws at the end of her fingers. She just takes one look at you and goes, "Let me show you why you should fear me," and leaps in amongst the dead. And proceeds to rip them apart. Like it's not even a question. She shreds them. First of all, she's huge. She's actually way bigger than you thought. She's almost she's at this point close to 3 meters high.
I think at least for Eliza's part, I think Eliza's picking glass out of her hand, just looking at this carnage, and it's just kind of, like leans on the bar and just looks over at Georgiana and says, "It's really interesting. Don't understand what's going on at all."
Okay, just at this point, is the voice in Georgiana's head saying anything?
Oh, now you want my advice. It's probably the first message you get because you're now checking in. We've well, I mean,
We've found the grieving angel.
yes. Why don't we just tell her? I tell you what? Why don't you give her Eliza?
Why don't we have a different plan for now?
Mine's really good. Okay. Why don't we give her the old Frenchman?
It seems like she wants this Vauquelin character. Perhaps if we offer to lead her to him.
I don't. Well, I mean, it does seem she doesn't like him very much, but I note in passing she's not doing anything about it.
Not doing anything about it. Is he
Well,
here?
you can see what she's doing to those dead things. I mean, if he was here, he'd be a mincy little shredded thing.
Well, that
And
sounds
the
like a
last
good
time we ran
outcome to
into her,
me.
she was, luring him on.
I see.
Maybe she doesn't have a choice.
Okay.
Maybe you give her one.
Okay, then Georgiana will cry out, "We can help you find," and I'm sorry, I just can't pronounce this guy's name. I have
Valaquin.
no idea how
Just call
much.
it Valaquin. Valaquin. I've been
If
shortchanging it.
if we give you Valquin, will you let us out of here?
Okay, so by this point, there's just dead shredded around her feet. You yell this out. She looks at you for a second, and at the top of her voice says, "You can't give him to me. You have to take him away so I can be me."
Where is he? We'll take him away.
Ask the painter. And then she steps into the shadow and is gone.
I guess Georgiana will. Well, what's Caravaggio doing now?
So he's buggered off.
Oh,
You guys are all standing around, and he's like,
Oh, so I was making my way to him at the end of my last sort of turn. Because my thing was, I couldn't command him. That felt wrong. My thing was to find out what he knew, to try and sort of find out how we could help him or how we could, stop what's happening. So I was trying to. Obviously, everyone else was. I figured I couldn't fight the dead.
okay, so you've stopped him from going away then. Okay, all right, no, that's cool.
Even if I stop him with another bottle and offer him another drink.
Yeah, sure. He seems completely unfazed by all the violence that's going on around him.
You said he's almost dead, so he's got a bit of a look about him. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, he looks like a person who's been begging on the streets for a while. It's
for a long time. Monsieur, what is happening here? Do you know what this insanity? What is I don't know how to help this. What if there's something wrong? Can you not paint anymore? Is there something happening with
He
you
took
that we
my
can?
brush.
Oh, the rector, or do you mean the other painter, Vaculin?
He took my brush.
Do you know where it is? Do you want? We can maybe retrieve it for you.
Yes.
If we do that, will you help us? Or we are you because he's not from he's in Milan, but which is where he lived, and I don't think he died, but he lived there. But he's out of his own time, right?
In a
Correct.
bubble.
So I'm assuming sorry?
He's like he's in a bubble.
I'm assuming he's right. He's stuck. He is. I'm making a leap that he is kind of maybe as stuck as what we are, and is maybe looking for a way out. Maybe he came in through a painting or something as well. So we are not from here. We are trying to get rid of a great evil in our own place, as it were, and I do not know which way to go. If you have, if I can help you and you can help us, or at least point us in the right direction, let us go. Let us try and find what you need.
Make a charm roll for me, please. With advantage. Oh yeah.
Yeah, boy. He's gonna paint me this fucking portrait after that, I think.
Yeah. He goes, I would. He goes, I would love to take that copyist down.
Vaculin?
Well, he took my brush because he couldn't do it himself.
Okay.
So, yes, I can take you to him.
Okay. All right.
And I will.
Let me try and disentangle my friends, and we go. Yeah, we try and help you.
Absolutely.
So once she disappears and people stop trying to murder each other, and Eliza's leaning on the bar.
By the way, the priest is still hanging upside down.
Well, actually, I'm just going to see if I can do something about that. And
okay.
do another change.
It's
It'll either go along the lines of aligning myself and drifting down onto the floor, or falling down like a picture off a frame.
Okay. Well,
I love the confidence of that move.
Yeah.
I would
like a power roll.
Quickly. Psst. We must away. Quick. We must go. Stop your...
Absolutely. We got closure on that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
As he drifts from inverted to standing in front of them near the table.
Yeah.
A slight glowing light. Well, that was the thing, wasn't it?
By the way, all your clothing is marked with the chains and the whips. And so is your skin.
Yeah.
The thing is, you look badly injured. But for you, it's just material pain, so therefore irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Excellent. So Reginald is scooping up the humans. Lady Purbeck, your scepter broke. You lost control of the world because you chose not to accept it. You've been kind of on your knees for a little while there, dealing with the conflict. But the dead are dead. They got killed by the giant grieving, weeping angel person. That's good, isn't it?
Yes. And actually slightly relieved by that, because the last time we'd seen the grieving angel, she'd been shattered into pieces.
True.
And I thought it was all my fault. But here she is back alive again, or as alive as an angel could be.
Yeah.
Ugh. And
But
I
she'll
never
be
knew
fine.
that she was Marielle Dubois. So I haven't kind of made that connection, I think. But so that's kind of a relief, weight off my shoulders. But I'm holding this scepter, and I feel this real connection now to Caravaggio with he's holding that broken
He's holding a broken paintbrush.
brush, and I'm holding this broken scepter, and I'm just like, we're the same.
You are. All you need to do is pick up the other half of the scepter and get it back together.
Okay. Well, we'll pick up the piece from the ground and try and jam them together, but I'm not expecting anything to happen.
Do you want something to happen?
Yes.
Okay.
It
Stick the
takes her a
two.
minute to think about it, but she's like, remembers that when we first saw the weeping angel and that dark creature standing over it and then destroying it, she was so frightened that she didn't stop. She actually told the driver to go faster, and she felt like she'd done the wrong thing because she had let that angel be harmed because she was too scared to stop and face what was there. And again, now, like, we were in this horrifying situation and this dead creature offering her that whip, she was overcome by fear and was like, no, and pushed it all away. But now that she stopped and thought about it, she's like, got to stop running away. I have to face these things that scare me. So she takes that scepter. And first she's just like, this is ridiculous. You can't put something like this back together. But she's like, I have got to face these things that scare me.
Okay. The scepter is one whole piece.
She kind of like gets up.
Look how pleased you look. I love that.
Conan the Barbarian with an axe.
My father's sword.
Yeah. Like, I will steer my own ship. I will be in charge. Not going
Yes.
to run away.
Well, it's more than just steer your own ship while you hold the scepter. It's steering everyone's ship. Like, you will command
Yes.
and control.
And I think that, like, because Pebek's always accepted her place in the world, that because she is very much like, I've got to stay inside my box. She was always the very dutiful wife, and she was happy to be that role. And she doesn't want to step outside of it because that would be then triggering her own obsession about, like, you can't step outside the norm. But she wants to find that way to exert her will as an upright matron who leads society.
You have the oddest feeling for a moment. And the reason it's the oddest feeling is you realize in that moment that the person who you trust the least is the rector.
Oh, that is piercing to the heart.
Because he doesn't care about your power.
Mm.
He's just rejecting the whole concept of the material world.
You have just seen me do something looking divine there.
So he is actually your opposing force. So as you hold the scepter and the rector is glowing, just to remind everyone, you can see that he's like your negation. It would be unreasonable to define it as your opponent. He's just the negation of what you are. He wouldn't see himself as your opponent. You definitively see him as yours.
Yeah.
Okay. But you have the scepter. And you do feel very confident that you and Georgiana are actually very aligned. It's the other three you got to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're all ready to head over with Caravaggio and his broken paintbrush. And that's where we'll stop it.
Mm.
Because it's
All Milan. So
six,
interesting.
10.
Nice.
I'll stop the recording. Give me 1 second. Stop.